dark, infectious rhythm is how it's described. In the background, When the Trumpet Blow, a new release from Gyazette, from the man who has too many titles to fit into the lower third on camera. Actor, musician, visual artist, composer, and storyteller, Nikolai Salcedo. Good morning and welcome back home.
Morning, Ayanka.
Always delightful to have you, because every time you come, you give us a little gift.
Right.
And in this incision, if you will, of the story, When the Trumpet Blow is, as we were seeing, a little foray into music specifically for the Jouvert season. What bug bite you? What inspired the decision to say, let me go in the thing and get them something?
You know what, to be honest, I've been sitting on the sideline of Carnival for so long, and I think what kind of bit me was just I was going through something, and I was like, hey, like, we started trying to make mass. I've been making mass now for the past couple of years, and something was just like, bro, like, you know, why don't try like making some music to like just go along with it.
That's creative too. Just create everything.
Yeah.
Full package.
And, so yeah, it ended up being this. There was I also wrote a calypso that's going to be releasing soon, and I've been toying with a couple other tracks that are soca adjacent, I guess.
Soca adjacent. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because as somebody so heavily embedded in the cultural scene, the fact that Carnival is something that's kind of far removed from is interesting. I think that generally we see that usually being the first place that most persons go into.
Right, yeah.
And so you're taking almost like a roundabout approach.
Yeah, like, you know, because the thing is, Ayanka, like, even with mass, you know, like, I've been doing mass now, I guess since 2019 is when I really started trying to get into that. And even with that, like, my goal ultimately is I would like to take that out of the carnival space. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm not a carnival artist. I'm an artist.
Point blank period.
Carnival is a season through which a lot of people find artistic expression or give voice to artistic expression. But for me, I'm kind of like, I guess for me, the thing with Carnival has always been that there's a lot of noise at that time. Everybody's trying to do something at that time. So you're trying to cut through that noise. And for me, I prefer to, you know, do something when I know, okay, cool, I don't have to scream above everything else. I can just say and it's heard, you know.
Well, you collaborated with some persons to make sure that the message is clear on this one.
Well.
So let's talk particularly about the release, because this is you writing, producing. How were you involved in this one in particular, primarily?
When the Trumpet Blow, that began with me on Logic. I was just fooling around trying to come up with a groove, really. You know, I was like, when I first started it, I was like, I don't want any words in it. I just want this to be an instrumental vibe. And that's a first for me, because normally I write songs and have words and whatever.
No pun intended.
But once I started it and I went so there's a collaboration between myself, Jay Lava, and just now Keshav Chancharath Singh. So once I started it and I went by Lava, and I was like, bro, so I was really approaching Keshav about working on this track. And he was like, yeah, let me hear it. And I played it for him, and he was like, bro, let me be on this.
Let me get in there.
You know? And he was immediately like log drums and stuff, you know, because he'd been doing a lot of work with Amapiano and Afrobeats and stuff. And from the time he started to add those things in, then it was like, all right, Kish, we need like, so what I did in Logic, I made the basic horn riff.
Okay. So the horns came first.
Right, but what I did wasn't necessarily like real horns. That was like just, you know, sequenced, programmed kind of horns. And then I was like, Keshav, we need actually to make this song like, you know,
music.
Horns. horns. And so by the time I got to Keshav, you know, we started to add in extra things, like I added in bats like throughout the entire track. Because we were building this track as a kind of musical promo bed for everything Gyazette Batman's affiliated and whatnot, you know. So straight through all the tracks there, these bats like just going. I was like, bro, like make it sound like bats are flying through the caves. So it was real, you know, it was real vibes. And we approached it like that, you know.
Well, the vibes hit, on it. The vibes hit, because from that little snippet that we would have played in the introduction, we immediately, I get it. I get the dark vibe that you're going for. The trumpets are obviously there. And so maybe we'll see more collaborations from this trio, or do we have other persons that we're taking up with for
well, I
other
mean,
releases?
we've been actually doing several collaborations for this season. The calypso that we've been working on was something we did with Beaver. And then there's a track that myself and Lava actually worked on with Keshav. That will be coming out a little bit later.
And the soca adjacent song.
Soca adjacent song is with Blase Bank.
You see what I mean?
So,
Some more collaborations.
Like, this has been a season of collaborations for us, you know.
Well, I like that you've thought about it in a holistic way. You have a bed, if you will, for the projects that are coming out, and Citizen Bat is one of them.
Yeah.
So that this takes us through the season in another way. Tell me about how that was birthed.
Citizen Bat came out of, so as I said, I've been making mass for the past couple of years, right? And Bat has really been the character I've been exploring as a traditional form. Citizen Bat came out of a couple of years of doing black bat mass. I wanted to give up on the bat. Really? This year. I was like, I'm done with the bat. I don't want it anymore.
Yet?
And then there's something was like, bro, like, just do it for one more year, but try something a little bit different, try to express it a little differently. And so we came up with Citizen Bat, which is a white bat mask. And we were switching to the color white because I wanted to switch to something that was more representative of the Mardi Gras aspect of Carnival, Monday and Tuesday, rather than the Jouvert aspect, which is that black bat mask.
Right, okay.
And whereas the black bat was playing with the psychology of the spectator, hence the costumes, the idea behind the black costume was that it was blackout, you know. So even me designing my piece, it was like no skin revealed, try to go for less skin reveal. The idea being that when somebody sees you during the nighttime, they're like, you know, this is just silhouette, and when you spread the wings, they're like, oh my God, and you know, run. It happened a few times.
Oh boy, I could imagine. But this one...
But Citizen Bat, Citizen Bat, on the other hand, was me conceptualizing, like, how do we create a mask that the masquerader can put themselves into, where it's not the designer or the band superimposing what you should be. The idea being that we are all citizens of a space, of Trinidad and Tobago, or the world, or whatever the case is. We are all Trinidadian. Everybody in this studio here, I'm assuming, is Trinidadian.
More or less.
Right? You know, but even if we aren't all, you know, at the end of the day, everybody who lives here currently in the country, we are honorary that. But how we wear that is very different.
Right.
You know, how each person expresses that, even in a family or whatever the case is, all of you are from T to T, but you know, how each of you express that is very, very different.
I think that it's important to interject then that this would have been the part where persons actually craft the costumes themselves and get the opportunity to really, truly express and embody it in their own way. Yes. Making sure I understand, because when we talk about creating mass and you creating mass, sustainability is part of the conversation, obviously, but getting persons involved in it, creating their own mass.
So getting persons involved, I find, that's the difficult part, but at the same time, we have gotten quite a few people reached out, expressed interest. Some people keep coming and working with us in the mass camp. Right now we're operating by Lakowi, which is a Taylor Springer and their place on Warner Street. But yeah, and I think by and large that aspect of Carnival has kind of left the fold. Most people now, I think of a Carnival Band experience as I go and I pay to collect something or whatever. But our focus really was, okay, like, sustainability, like how do we take things around us, how do we make it something that's affordable for people within reach. I never played like mass in a band. I don't relish the idea of anybody having to take a loan to play a mass either.
This is a no judgment zone, Nikolai.
No, I'm not judging anybody for it. I'm just saying, like, for me, in terms of my experience, I wanted to create. You know, I was like, how do I create something that allows people just to fit themselves in without much thought, without having to go extreme. Like, we kind of created something where it was like, if you want to, you could spend as much money as you want and build something extravagant. So like we've been talking with people who do like cosplay. You know, there's one young lady, for instance, that's with us right now, and she's doing her own costume at home. So it's all of those things we kind of were thinking of, you know.
Well, in that case, we will continue the conversation because, as you say, you want to take this outside of the season. But one last question, and you could choose to not tell me, but does that mean we're going to get an actual EP, a collection of everything, visuals, sounds, all together, some sort of package idea? Give Mama credit for spearing the idea. For now, we say thank you very much, Nikolai Salcedo, for joining us here on the Now Morning Show, giving us his latest offering for the season and beyond, and making sure that we enjoy the culture in a more immersive way. We're going to check in with you later on, you know, because I know there's more to come. But for now, you guys stick around. We've got more on the Now Morning Show after these messages.